The Iran conflict also sparking concern for those involved or those maybe watching some of their money through the stock market. Continues to show some major volatility, and yeah, these kinds of situations create that. So major players, how are they dealing with all of this? How are your investments looking as you kind of figure this out? Matt Venezia from our First Alert desk to maybe get us through this. All right, Matt, good morning.
Hey, Matt, good morning. When we talk about the stock market, right, investors watching, from the sidelines, they've been on a roller coaster of both emotions, maybe the dollars. That's ever since getting in on the stock market. But when you have major conflict and things abroad taking place, the market certainly fluctuates, and that's exactly what we have here with the conflict in Iran. So let's start with this. So look at the two major stock market indexes. The Dow Jones, okay, it measures the top 30 U.S. companies, and then you have the S&P 500, which measures the top 500 companies, roughly, kind of a total market index there within the United States. Both finishing in the green yesterday, but again, we speak about volatility, certainly can go back and forth on that. But when zooming in, of course, oil, big player here. Matt Williams there a second ago stating a lot of the world's oil supply comes from the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to be talking a lot about it here this morning, and about 20% of it coming from that area. This is not the first conflict that the stock market has had to maneuver through and around. Something Fred Dent from Wealth Enhancement says investors should rely on the data following each of those instances.
Well, it's normal to feel uptight when we see all of the world events going on, but if we look back, going way back to the Korean War and all major events and crises that we've had, if we look out a year past each one of those crises, the average annual return of the S&P 500 index is 14% positive following a crisis.
Speaking of that V word, how's this for volatility? On Monday, oil had reached $120 a barrel, given the fears that the conflict may be continuing to go, maybe, possibly even lengthen, go longer. However, after President Trump stated the conflict would end, quote, very soon, oil following that fell to around $90 a barrel, further illustrating all the fluctuability, I should say, of what takes place in the stock market, given something like this, the conflict taking place in Iran. So certainly something to keep an eye on there. Keep an eye on your investments, the dollars that you have there going on. So with that, we'll send it to Jared Silverman. He is at the Weather Center.